Hi, I'm Dave Morris, and joining me is the Oklahoman sports editor Mike Sherman and columnist Jenni Carlson. Jenni, at today's OSU press conference, you had a chance to talk with football coach Mike Gundy. How did it go?
Well, I got a chance to ask one of the questions that I really wanted to ask after Saturday and after Mike Gundy had what a lot of people are calling a tirade after the Texas Tech game. The question I really wanted to ask him was, he said on Saturday that three-fourths of what I had written in Saturday's column was inaccurate. And I really wanted to know from him what those inaccuracies were, what those statements of fact that were wrong were. And unfortunately, I didn't get any answers. I asked the question was also asked by a couple other people in different ways, and still we don't have answers to that. So that's unfortunate, because when you contend that there's that much wrong with something, I as a reporter would really like to know what was wrong with the story, with the column.
Guys, what's the real issue here, Mike? Is it how much should college athletes be critiqued?
I think that's part of the question, but I think Mike Gundy really just had a hard time with the tone, tenor, and question that was asked on Saturday. He expressed to me that he really didn't like the idea that it was written on game day, that it should be about something else. The other thing is, Mike has had a hard time for a long time about any off-the-field criticism of college athletes. He's fair. He says any critiques of their performance on the field is fine. He just didn't like us asking the question about Bobby Reid and his attitude.
Well, Jenni, let's talk about that column Saturday. What was the point?
Well, we heard for the entire week going into the Troy game that Bobby Reid was going to be the starting quarterback for that game. He was hurt in the Florida Atlantic game. Zach Robinson came in, performed really well, and people wanted to know, is he going to be the guy? Coaches were adamant, Bobby Reid is going to be the starter. And that was true right up until the point of kickoff, when Zach Robinson trotted out and was the starter for Oklahoma State. And at that point, the coaches were pretty much lock, stock, and barrel, full steam ahead with Zach Robinson. So my question was, why? We had not really received any sort of good answer to that from coaches. So with our sources and with the information that we had, we really tried to tile up the reason as to why Zach Robinson was the guy instead of Bobby Reid.
Mike, your role here as sports editor, and Gundy mentioned you. What's your role in the story process? And also tell us the difference between just a story and a column.
Well, the first column is, it has Jenni's opinion, Barry Trammell's opinion, John Rohde's opinion, and also their analysis of what's going on. Sometimes it's behind the story, sometimes it's in front of the story. So they're basically giving their opinion, sometimes about what should be, but explaining in this case. The second thing is, my role was to try to produce the most interesting stories that answer the most compelling questions on the minds of readers out there, the Oklahoman and of News OK. That's what we were trying to do here. But it is fair to ask the question whether that was a cheap shot or not. It's fair to ask the question that Mike Gundy's asking about the tone of coverage of college athletes. Reasonable people can disagree with that, and obviously there remains a disagreement today on that.
All right, Mike, Jenni, thanks for your time today. We appreciate it. Be sure to read Jenni Carlson's column in tomorrow's Oklahoman. Also, share your thoughts on this situation at newsok.com.